Okay, well, first of all, the higher end of detailing is where we're headed to in this. So we went from a car wash to your kind of corner detail shop, and we now went to your more professional detailers. Now let's step into the world of high quality, high end detailing. Typically what you're going to see in these shops are not near as, while there will be a system in place and a very strict system of how to go about doing things, you're going to maybe notice that the industrialization part of it, the assembly line type manufacturing line process is not really so much there, at least in a lot of the high-end quality detail shops I've seen. They're typically not this industrial, huge expanse. I'm not saying that some of those shops can't handle that kind of thing. Maybe they have sometimes in those things you'll see where they offer the professional services that they offer, but then they also have a couple of guys, one or two guys that really know their stuff that will handle higher end type details, maybe for a show car, maybe someone has a Bentley that they need, or a Bugatti or Ferrari, or a higher end car with a really quality paint job, something like that, where they want the thing protected. Maybe they have a show car that old classic that they've restored or whatever that they want to show off, but they want it to be well protected, and they want the paint job, of course, to look as perfect as it can. That's where you get into your higher end, your high quality detailers. Some professional shops that we talked about earlier will have people on staff that can handle this, and there are some shops out there that just specialize in while they will do other details, it's what they tend to specialize in. Myself, I keep my company small by design. I don't want a big industrialized process. So I just keep a few employees that are very well trained, and I like to be very hands-on to make sure the quality never slips. I want to make sure that we're doing as perfect of a job as we can every time we do it. That starts when you first pull a vehicle in. I have people that ask me to do a bid on their vehicle. Typically they'll pull it up dirty, which kind of sucks. They're asking me to try to bid on doing a paint correction or something like that, where I don't actually accurately know what really is going on with that paint. And a lot of times you'll find that you don't really know with your naked eye what's going on with the paint until you've washed it and clay bar it and you've got it perfectly clean. Then you can start really seeing what's going to have to be done to correct that paint job. The other thing we'll look at when we walk around it is we'll look at the interior. We'll be looking for stains or problem areas in the interior that we might have to clean, and pretty much what we're going to have to do. We kind of get our mind wrapped around what we're going to have to do to this particular vehicle. A lot of times it's just things. I won't lie, sometimes it's just to see the features in the cars. We kind of really like cars, so when you get to see something new, maybe you haven't seen before, a new feature or something, it's kind of cool to check it out a little bit. That's a little kind of thing we do to get, we kind of get away with it. Then the first thing we want to do is, if we've been commissioned to the detail include an engine cleaning, we're going to do that first. Along the underside of the hood, usually the padding's there, we'll go ahead and spray that down. We don't use any higher pressure than necessary to clean that off. Around the edges of the underside of the hood, we will spray with a pressure washer. Around the edges of the hood, we use high pressure. Of course, high pressure is no more than 2,700 psi, and we're not getting the tip anywhere close to the paint. And then, of course, anywhere near the engine, once you start getting into the engine department, we our pressure washer is adjustable. We turn it down to its lowest setting, and it's not, actually it's probably about the same as just a water hose misting over the engine compartment. It's not powerful at all as far as forcing water into anything. Of course, you want to have the engine off. Depending on the make and model of the car, you want to have the battery disconnected so there's no electrical current going through the car. In certain situations, if you do that, you have to call the manufacturer of the vehicle to find out the reset code so you can reset their stations and things in their stereo or whatever. Preset. There are actually some stereos in vehicles that will not play it off. The battery's disconnected unless you have the code to go back into it. So you want to know all that kind of going in, what you're going to need to do. So a little bit, you don't have to be a mechanic, but knowing a little bit about the engine, make and model of the car is very important. Then we'll use a degreaser that we use. We call it red to be really original. We just call it the Red X or something like that. It's kind of a degreaser we developed. We apply that to the engine with the foam gun usually, which you've probably seen that also in my videos. Then we'll go through the process of cleaning the engine off. We use soft bristled brushes. In places where it might be a little dirtier, a little more soiled, we might use a little stiffer bristled brush, but not too much. We want to use the least we approach things from how do we do the least amount necessary to get this clean and to get it looking perfect. So we'll do things in steps from the least aggressive to just what it takes to get it cleaned off without going any further and taking any chances on messing anything up. So we'll get the engine cleaned, and of course, once you get it, it's still soapy and you scrub it off. Then you got to come back and lightly spray it off just to get all the soap and everything out of there. Wash all the dirt and soap away. And once you get done with that, you'll want to come back